Hello people, how are you? Welcome to our YouTube channel here at Majestic Events. And I know this is not something I do on the regular, but I felt that I needed to do it because I didn't think doing a short would be enough. And I just wanted to talk about something that I feel very close to my heart. And what I wanted you to do today, or what I wanted to tell you today, is stop burying your head in the sand when it comes to your finances. You heard me right. Stop burying your head in the sand when it comes to your finances. As creative people, we always wish that we could just make our products and our services the best that they can be, and then have someone else deal with the finances. I mean, if you feel that way, please just tell me, yeah, I'm right. You know, like, put a comment below and say, yes, if someone else could handle, if you're in Kenya, if someone else could handle KRA, you're like, oh, please, I don't want to do that. And I will never forget, earlier on in my career, one of my mentors was in this space. She was in the wedding business space. She wasn't a planner. And one thing I noticed is that she was able to create these amazing products and these amazing services. And she really didn't have to care about VAT, pay as you earn, KRA, tax, invoicing clients. Why? Because it's her husband who used to do them. And I was like, what? If having a husband means this, then let me get married. Because I really used to fear handling my finances. And then fast forward, you start meeting people and collaborating with House of Dirty. They're a couple. Blooming Day planners, they're a couple. You're like, even me, I don't want to deal with my finances. Well, I'm here to tell you, if you're like me, one, very single, and in your business, you're still very single in that you're the only business owner and you don't have a partner. You probably just have one employee or 5 to 7. If that is you, my friend, please stop burying your head in the sand. We must know our numbers, guys. I don't know how to put this. And what brought this on was we had an EPW event planners workshop that was focusing on how to use technology to make our work life easier, simpler, faster, less work. And so after that EPW session, which we normally hold, I think every 3 months, from I think it's 9:30 to 11:30 a.m. It's just 2 hours, 2.5 max. And after having that session, guys were like so excited. Like, they were like, is there a WhatsApp group we can join? I was like, we have never had such a response. And Eunice and that is the one who took us on that session. It was a very good session. Anyway, so we opened this group. And of course, after people were saying it was a very useful workshop and all, things kind of simmered down a bit. But someone came up and asked a question, and she's like, is there anyone who is finding this e-teams thing really hard? Now, if you're a Kenyan and you are in business and you don't know what e-teams is, and if you're an event planner, to make matters worse, you don't know what e-teams is, then please call me. Just call me, okay? I will talk to you and set things straight. But e-teams is an initiative or a law that has been put in by KRA or by government, and I think it's one of the ways they want to ensure that everybody who is earning money, no matter how small, they want to make sure that money is accounted for, I guess for tax purposes and all. So this member in the EPW WhatsApp group asked the question, and I kid you not, no one really responded except me. And I got to ask myself, are people not taking this e-teams thing seriously? Because what e-teams means is that whether you're VAT compliant or not, you have to have it. So to bring it closer home, it just means that, you know how we as planners like to hire people, right? To join your planning team. Maybe you have someone handling decor for you and you're paying them like 3,000 a day, 2,500, 4,000 if it's a corporate or something like that. Those guys need to have e-team numbers. You know why? Because if they don't, you will be able to claim it, meaning that you will not be able to expense it, and therefore your income tax, which is 30% of your profit, will be affected, because you can't claim that 30,000, 40,000 as an expense because you pay people who are not e-teams compliant. They have no e-teams number. In fact, today, was it today or yesterday, I heard that they've made it so simple that you can use an USSD code to apply for it. Even if you're a small, you're being paid 2K, they want you to register, and they introduced this in January in 2024. So this affects you because if you spend like 60,000 on your planning team, and let's say you were paid 350,000, you cannot say 30% of 350 less 60,000 is what you're paying the government. No, if they're not e-teams compliant, you will be charged 30% of the 350,000. Worst case still is if you go to the supermarket and you purchase things and you don't give them your PIN and you're not e-teams compliant, what it means is that for all those things you went to buy, if you do gifts, all those things you bought, so you went where you had a truck, you paid 10K here, you paid 15 here, if you didn't share your PIN, imagine you won't be able to claim. Can you imagine that? What would that mean for you if your client is sending you their money, they're paying their suppliers through you, and that money is going to your account? How do you justify? If they sent you 3 million, guess what? You will have to pay 30% of that as your, if you can't expense, if it's not an e-team receipt, you have to do 30% of that, about 900,000. I mean, I'm not an expert, but I'm just trying to tell you how this thing is crazy. Like, you can't run away. So, yeah, that e-teams discussion, you can't run away from it. You must get to understand it. And at this point, I'm going to be shameless and say that we're in the, maybe six weeks? Is it 6 weeks? When is it? 6 weeks. I think we're going to be having a workshop, and we're going to call somebody an accountant, a financial consultant, somebody who can talk to us, especially as event planners and event business owners, about e-teams, because we do a lot of small money here, small money there. So we need to know exactly what the law says and what we need to do so that we're not caught flat-footed. Right, so that's what sprang this on. So no matter what you do, you need to know your numbers. And I know I've said this over and over again, and I'll keep preaching the word. Why? Because if you don't know your numbers, you probably undercharge or overcharge. I mean, it's nice to overcharge, but they'll never come back to you. But guess what? What if you're undercharging? What does that mean? So you need to know, one, how much time are you spending on a client, right? How much time, how many hours have you spent on a specific client? Those of you who are wedding planners, we are so creative. We want to please our couples. We want to please them. We want to tell them, please, let's do this. The couple calls you and tells you, the bride calls and tells you, let's meet. You go, you meet. After all, they're paid. You meet with them. You spend 4 hours. Remember, as a wedding planner, I will never forget, you're also a counselor. So you're just talking. Meanwhile, time is moving, right? So if you don't quantify how much time you've spent, so for example, if you're doing a particular wedding and you notice that maybe you spent 100 hours on the wedding, and you were paid 150,000. That's what? 100. Can I get my calculator? Because so you spent 100 hours, you charge them 150,000 because you're still new. That is, no, that can't be right. 150,000 divided by, what did I say? 100 hours. Thank you, Sheila. It's 1,500 per hour. That's per hour. Is that per day? That's per hour, right? Now, how many hours did you spend on that wedding? Right. So let's say maybe they came to you 6 months before the wedding. That's 1,500 per hour. Yes. So they came and they came to you 4 months before the wedding, and every month you meet her twice a week, and every meeting is about 4 hours. So twice a week, that's 8 hours a week, right? 8 hours a week, and you have 4 months. How many weeks are there in a month? 4. So 4 times 4 is 16 weeks. 16 weeks, and you're spending 8 hours. So let's do 16 times 8 hours is 128. Then you're supposed to be, if that's your hourly rate, times 1,500. 192,500. Like that is, I mean, you charge them 150, that's like 42,000 more. I know we don't think about hourly rates in Kenya. That's not how we think about charging. But what I'm trying to say is you need to quantify your time. So when I talk to some other planners, what they do is when it comes to weddings, for example, and I'm using weddings because a lot of you do them. So when it comes to weddings, they will say like, you'd rather tell your couple or your client or your bride that you will meet them maybe 3 times a month or 2 times a month, and this is what we're going to discuss. And that can only work, right, if you plan your time and plan your schedules. This will stop you as a wedding planner who is such a people pleaser, and if your bride calls you, all you do is just up and go. But what you don't realize is at the end of the day, you're running at a loss. So for this particular person who spent, how many hours was it? 100 and something. They ought to have charged 192,500, but what did they charge? 150,000. So they even made a loss. So now, and that's just one thing, that's just the time element. I'm just giving you an example. So quantify your time, and you can do it in many ways, and it's just one of the ways that I hope that this point will sink, that you need to think about the time. If you're working from home, most of you are wedding planners or event planners, you're starting out, or you've been in business and because of COVID you decided, no, I'm letting go of my office, and so you're spending time working at home. Please, when you walk out and get into your car or take an Uber or take a mat, right? Please make sure you're leaving your house for a meeting, right? And that meeting is going to be of value, especially if you're doing deco. You know how people say come for a site visit? How many site visits are you going to go for before you get paid a deposit? And have you factored the number of site visits you're going to do into your costings? Or you're just like, as long as I get some money, it's fine. No, you need to cost it. So what I'm saying is quantify what you're doing, the number of hours, the number of times you leave your house, the amount of fuel you use, so that whatever you charge your client is making sense to you. You are making money from it, right? So guys, don't ignore e-teams. I've said that was the story. That's what inspired this. Don't ignore e-teams. And again, don't ignore quantifying what you're doing. The third thing I'd like to say is why this is important and where my turnaround came about was when I realized and asked myself the question, why am I in business? And I can ask you the same thing. Why do you do business? Or why are you an event planner? Yes, it could be because you love what you do, which is true and great, but what's the objective? Why are you not doing an 8 to 5 job? What's the objective and what's the purpose of your business? And that is to make money. No one is in business just just hang around like that. We're here to make business, okay? To make money, right? So if we're here to make money, why is it that and ask myself, if I'm here to make money, why am I not interested? Or why am I not investing enough time learning about money? If you're in deco, there are people who will say, always charge VAT. Why? Why would you not want to charge VAT? Because you can claim it, which would mean you reduce what you're supposed to pay. Someone else would say, oh, I need to buy this truck. You're buying this truck using a bank loan. There are many ways of doing it, and I'm simplifying this, but if you use a bank loan, that VAT, you can use it to reduce your tax. You can get a tax credit, as in, there's so much we can discuss when it comes to finance. And so, the first thing I want you to do when you stop listening to this video, and this is a long one intentionally, is I want you to start, 1, create a timesheet. Okay, go to your Excel. If there's an app for this, by the way, if you have an app for this, please let me know, because we're currently looking for one. If you have an Excel sheet, let's say you have 2 couples, label each sheet, Sarah and Michael, sheet 1, Jane and Peter, sheet 2. When you meet them, just log it in. For the next 6 months, just log it in. When you meet them, just say, put the titles of the column would be date, time, and describe that meeting. And just keep telling that on. And at the beginning, it might be a bit hard because you're not used to doing it. But please, just try and do it. Please just indulge me and do it. Because if you do it, when you summate and when you total the number of hours you have spent on doing your meetings, on phone calls, on Zoom calls, when you quantify it, right, you'll see how much time you actually spend. And the next question that will be would I have done this with less time, right? So create that Excel sheet 1. Once you've created that Excel sheet and you've finished at least one project, right? The other thing I'd like you to do is the second thing, right? And you'll do this, at the same time, is write down all your expenses. Write down all your expenses. How much you pay for the internet, how much you pay for rent if you have an office, how much you pay your part-time workers or your employees, how much, put it down. Please get an accountant if you need help with this. Do that. And that's the second thing. Number 3, please get a bookkeeper, sit with them and figure out how much you need to charge in order for you to cover your monthly costs. Those are the only 3 things I'm telling you to do. Create a timesheet. Second was put down all your expenses, That means even because you're the business, it would also clearly mean how you look. Like marketing expenses, or when you go and meet somebody, put all that down. And then 3, get a bookkeeper or get an accountant. And if you need help getting an accountant that's, will not charge you so much, and somebody who is specifically geared to helping SMEs, please leave a comment below and we will get in touch. Just leave your number, or better still, get in touch with us. We have our numbers in the bio of our YouTube channel, and we can help you. So just do those 3 things, and then please let me know in the next 3 months what you find out. Yeah, that's the thing I wanted to share today. Please, let's stop burying our heads in the sand, because we're here for money. We're here to make money. We're here to be profitable. Okay? And then once you do that, you will thank me later, because now you become what? More aware. You'll be able to charge better. You'll be able to be more profitable, and you'll be able to achieve a lot more with your business. All right. That's it for today. If you found this useful, please let me know. 1, 2, if you like these long version videos, please let me know. We might consider doing 1 a month on a topic. If you have any question when it has to finances, please put them down in the comments below. Reason being is we'll use that information to create workshops for you, and our online workshops are free. It's just basically for us to learn as a community. All right, that's all for today. Have a good one.